Good morning. This is my gravel bike, number 22 Drifter. This is my favorite bike out of all the bikes I have. It is the most versatile, and I've had it, I think it's the oldest bike out of all the bikes I have now. This bike is made by number 22, which is way upstate New York, near the Adirondacks mountain range. And I got this bike by doing a work exchange for them. They had a rider racing the Red Hook Crit some years ago. So in exchange for some photos and some videos, they gave me exchange for a bike frame and fork. It was like a frame fork headset, basically. Because these things are not the cheapest, being a handmade titanium frame, and they're really good at it as well. So it's definitely a top tier bike. It's always been, in my opinion, something I've always wanted. So when the opportunity arose to get one for a work exchange, I jumped on it. This is a size XL, and this is the Drifter. They currently offer the Drifter and another model called the Drifter X. This is the Drifter. They didn't have the Drifter X when I got this one made, but I did get some customization with this frame. So because they make the frames in-house to order, every bike you have the ability to customize the geometry a bit. So I talked with Mike over there, who was the point person, and I wanted a gravel bike that I can run a mountain bike dropper seat post on. And I have one right now, and it's set up, it's a SRAM axis. So when I had the bike made, there was no wireless dropper yet. I was running a cable dropper, but as you can see, if I push both shifter buttons here, my seat drops. I stand up, push it again, it goes back to where it needs to be, in the perfect height position. Anyways, at the time, these frames were made with a standard 27.2 seat tube diameter, and there weren't a lot, or if any, dropper seat post options in 27.2 at that time that were internally routed. I didn't want a cable hanging outside of the bike. I wanted it to all be clean and inside the frame. So Mike took my measurements, and he made it with a 30.9, which is more of a common seat post size for mountain bikes, and dropper posts are made for mountain bikes, so that was the wise decision. So I have a 30.9 seat tube, and he took my saddle height, and he wanted to know what size dropper I was gonna run. I told him I wanted to run 100 millimeters of drop. So he took my current seat height and from the bottom bracket, and I gave him that measurement. So what he had to do to make it fit within the Drifter geometry was he had to take the angle of the top tube and slack it down just a tad, so there would be enough seat tube to create the drop. So now I have a 100 mil dropper on here, and it's a perfect fit. I have it slammed all the way down to the seat collar, and it goes all the way down, out of the way, and pops all the way back up where it needs to be. Some of the other features or things that I like about this bike is that I have this wheel set on here that I got from my friend Richard. It's my first and only set of Envy wheels I've ever owned. And Envy was having pretty much a closeout sale on their website a few years back. So they were selling complete wheel sets. I think he bought this one for like $650. The thing is, it wasn't built. They only sold you the hoops, hubs, spokes, and nipples, and you had to build it yourself. So not a big deal for Richard. He built them up, and he never ended up using them, and he offered to sell them to me. So I threw them on here, and these Envies are pretty sure they're the M60s, and they're hookless. I know that hookless rims are all the fashion in gravel talk right now. I've had these on my bike for a long time. These M60 wheels are actually made for a cross-country mountain bike. Because it's 142 spaced, it fits on this bike fine, perfectly. The cool thing about these rims are the internal width of them. They're really wide. I'm not 100% sure how wide they are, but they're wider than your average mountain bike rim at the time when I built them. Now, I think it's more of a common thing to have wider rims, especially now that more people are talking about hookless rims on their gravel bikes. And of course, I have these set up tubeless, and I have these on the IRC Boken Plus tires. They're 42C, but they look more like a 50, how wide the tire is. Other things that are pretty cool about this bike is in the drivetrain. I've already talked about having SRAM axis on here, so I have a 1x, and this is, again, this is all really common now. It's not a huge deal to really talk about it. There's bikes that come stock with this drivetrain setup, but at the time, it wasn't that common to throw an Eagle rear end, mountain bike rear end on a gravel bike. So I have an X01 electric shifter paired to an X01 cassette, and it's 10-52. And in the front, I have SRAM Force cranks. They're matched up to the new ARN chainring. It's a 46 tooth and it's offset. So the chain line's pulled in a little bit. The offset's built into the chainring. It looks really cool. And it feels good. So 46 on the front and a 10-52 on the back gives me a lot of range. And the bottom bracket's a little blinged out. I got a Chris King sealed bottom bracket on there. For brakes, I have old SRAM red road flat mount brakes paired up with these Force levers. You already heard about the seat post. It's a SRAM axis dropper, 30.9 with 100 millimeters of drop. And I'm sitting on a Physique Argo. Actually, I made a change to the bike since I shot this video. I am now on the Specialized Power Saddle, and it is the first time I'm trying one, and I'll report back when I have some solid feedback for y'all. And for the stem and bars, this is the 100 mil number 22 stem. It comes painted matched with the 22 fork in this color purple. And the bars are the Envy carbon gravel bars. And that's my number 22 Drifter gravel bike. If you want to see more about the bike or its progression of changes, because these bikes I don't just buy them built. I build them up and things change over time. Like I said, I've had this is one of the oldest bikes I own in my collection now. So as it looks now isn't how it looked when I first got it. If you want to look back, I have videos. I'll link them down below. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
So we bring to a close the story of rigid control through the unceasing research and the highest quality.